Her name is Aide, but she just goes by Lady H because people have difficulty pronouncing Aide. And when I introduce you, you want me to say your entire name, Yariana Torres?
Yeah.
Cool? Mm-hmm. I'll see me. All right, cool.
Yari. Yeah.
Yari? Everybody calls me Yari. That's what I say when I, it's different now because estamos entre gente y pana. But when I meet someone and like, I can tell like they're not going to be able to say Yariana. I'd be like, oh, my name is Yariana, but you could say Yari. Because one thing I used to do when I was younger that I have vowed not to do is, my name is Yariana. That's not my name, you know?
Shots.
For telling people younger. It took me a long time to correct people. I went by another name. Haiti. Ugh. Like, hurts my ears hearing it now.
My name is Ronald. And I say Ron, pero en español, Ronald. Y yo me lo dicen regañándome. And I'm like, no me digan, just call me Ron.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Opportunity, promotion, blah, blah. You know, those are just words.
Words. All I have to offer is words. Just words.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
What's going on, my beautiful peoples, on this first Saturday of March?
Yeah.
Happy March.
Yeah. So, ya este año se está yendo.
No, babe. No, it's not. The first quarter's not done.
The first quarter's not done.
Cool it.
Cálmate.
It's one of those things that, every time now I sit down with people and everybody's like laying out their year. And I'm like, no, that's it. Let's just start planning for 2025 at this point. Yeah, we're already late. O si estamos hablando about the summer, we're already late. We should have been talking about the summer last fall.
Yeah.
It's
going too fast.
Yeah.
No, man.
Going too fast.
But the other day it was feeling like nice and springy. And I was like, I walked out. I'm like, all right, man, so, the weather's changing, it's popping. The other day, hacía un frío.
I got caught. I spent the whole day Thursday when that cold break happened, or what do you call cold snap happened?
Cold front.
Right? Is it cold front? Cold snap.
When that cold snap happened, I dressed myself as if it was the day before, the spring weather, but like just a thicker layer. But that wasn't enough. I was suffering all day. I was so cold. Damn. So cold.
No. I literally went to the supermarket. They could get like limones, bro. Something like dumb shit.
Mad random.
Mad random.
Essential.
Just a bag of limones. That's it.
And next thing I know, I'm like, no. I ran back to the crib. I was like, nah, está frío.
Oh, tomorrow's going to be like 61, though.
Look at
Really?
that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
But I don't trust it.
Yeah.
No,
Check it again tonight.
Yeah, they be lying.
Like, I'm not.
Check it again tonight.
Check it again
Just
in the morning.
case. So you won't get caught again.
No, it was bad. No, the thing is, I did check the weather before leaving, and I was like, oh, it's going to be 40. I just need like a cute coat. Yeah. That shit was like 29 degrees. It was
sike.
So cold. So cold. Anyway.
Let me run right back into it. You know who we got on deck? My brother, my main man, Dre Drizzo.
What's going on? What's happening, my people? Speaking of weather, it's horrible outside right now. What you said? What you said? The plants got to eat too, so I'm going to go with that. The trees and the plants.
Got to eat too.
All right, cool.
Because if the trees don't eat, explícame.
We have no oxygen, right? That's how it goes.
Like that, yeah.
If the trees have no life, how we going?
True. All right.
So we got to be grateful for the rain.
Yeah, you're right.
And the rain is water and all the other good stuff. So it's a beautiful day, in fact. So let's rephrase it. Positive thoughts. Don't you? You still don't got the positive mantra shit?
I ain't wake up on that shit today. I woke up today on some other shit. Like, coño.
First of the month, bills got to be paid.
There you go.
That's what it is.
There you go. Paid the light and the Wi-Fi today. You're right. Yeah. There you go.
He said
the light, be a little better.
Wi-Fi.
He said the light and the Wi-Fi.
The rent was paid already.
Well, clearly somebody's cutting the cord. Oh man, that other lovely voice that we got on deck is the lovely, the honorable Lady H.
It's great to be back. I had a great time in Houston. I am very busy right now, but I feel like I am at a place that is creatively fruitful. It's very fruitful, and I'm learning a lot. I'm being challenged in good ways for myself. So
there you go.
It's great. I'm gonna throw out 3 great shows this month, and then we'll move on to the next.
Yeah.
This month.
This month, 3 shows opening.
Damn.
Bam.
You're just dropping them.
Yeah, so I feel a little like, whew. I'm taking deep breaths to like calm and center myself. Like one thing at a time. But it's great. It's all good.
What's your mantra? You got any mantras?
One thing at a time.
One thing at a time.
Yeah.
Look at you doing it. Y'all know what day is Dominican Independence Day?
It was last week, right?
It was not
It
on
was.
Wednesday.
It's still this week, by the way. Chill.
Wasn't it Sunday? Because it wasn't on Wednesday.
It's Tuesday. Isn't it Tuesday?
It was Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
But we celebrated. We did Dominican Independence Day celebration on Wednesday. What the fuck? I can't remember the dates. What, March 27th?
28th.
Okay.
Celebrated.
We celebrated the 28th.
February 28th.
February, dito March.
Yeah,
My bad.
Celebrated in the future.
My apologies. My bad. February 28th, we celebrated. Independence Day, I believe, is the 27th. Does anybody know this?
Yes, the 27th.
Right.
Yes,
Fact
yes.
check
Yes,
right there.
yeah.
Don't make me pull out the fact check screen
No.
already. Like, yeah, it's mad early. Matter of fact, let me just double check. Porque esta vaina está feo.
I mean,
para
the day Independence Day is celebrated is the 27th.
Okay.
To put it that way.
And yeah, so February 27th. All right. But we celebrated the 28th at City Hall. And by we, Lady H and I, we stopped by. And you go there, and these type of rooms, because it's politicians and it's mad doñas, bro. Apparently, the only people that show up to like support politics is nothing but doñas.
That shocked me. Like, seriously.
They were getting their shots in the city hall. They came dressed up.
Es un
It was
photo
great.
shoot del diablo, bro.
Yeah,
Yes,
for real.
yes.
Yeah.
Like
the amount of times we got up for the ladies to pass us in the aisle, and then the other times we sat down, got up, sat down.
I sat down in the wrong spot. Like, you would have thought these women were about to get proclamations and awards y toda la vaina.
No, they were just
That's all
They were just
love.
there, bro.
chilling.
Y saben a todo el mundo, apparently.
Yeah, they know.
Yeah.
The connections I saw, it was like groups over here, groups over there, groups, and I was like, where do all these people know each other from? Like, what?
And so the thing is that we're sitting there and we're going through the little itinerary of the day, and you start reading, proclamation, speech. And then they had performance, and they had this tiny little baby girl. I don't remember her name at all, but she killed.
Frangeli.
¿Cómo?
Frangeli. Either or. I followed her on Instagram. She has a beautiful voice.
She killed it. I don't know. I think she was lip singing though.
She was, but it was
To
her
her
voice.
voice?
Okay.
Oh, you posted her on the chat, right?
I did post a picture of her in the
yeah.
chat. Yeah, on the family chat.
Okay.
She was a baby doll.
No,
Yeah.
no.
A Dominican baby doll.
Pero una estrellita. For those that don't know what estrellita means, a little starlet.
Oh, she was singing merengue?
Dominican Shirley Temple.
Nah, she sang
Yes.
the Dominican
National
anthem.
Oh,
El himno. ¿Hay alguna palabrita? que se-
Aligno.
Yeah. And I don't know the words. I don't even know the American one. Fuck am I talking about? I only know the Pledge of Allegiance.
Wait, that's the same shit.
No, man.
It's not.
It's not.
The
That's true,
national
that's true.
anthem is the
My
old
brain is
slave.
foggy. That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Do they stay in school? Do they still require the Pledge of Allegiance?
I never said it. They don't require it because I'm in high school, but I know that in elementary schools they still do it. But I stopped doing it when I was really young, just because
Yo, I'm
I
gonna
can't believe they
get.
still do
right,
that.
right.
I can't believe they still do it.
Bro, we gotta brainwash people. One
That's
way or
true.
another.
That's true.
the little
Right
kids
at-
they gotta know the doctrine.
yeah. Right at 8:30 in the morning, sharp. They gotta
No,
say that.
girl.
Literally,
Yeah.
First period, you had to say it before class even started.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And then the schools have their own pledge. So you say the Pledge of Allegiance, and then you say your
Oh.
school's pledge.
Really?
Well, that's how it was when I was in elementary
Oh
school.
wow.
Oh wow.
I don't know what school you went to. If you said you're in the Bronx, so shout out to the Bronx, dropping like real shit because definitely you've picked up the standard, and I haven't even introduced you yet because I was getting to that.
No, we keep interrupting.
No.
My bad.
Because I'm trying to set the scene, right? So we got mad doñas. There's a ton, and we're in City Hall, bro, where all you see is pictures of George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, all these white people that I'm sure never in their mind had imagined their sacred grounds filled with a bunch of brown people. You know what I'm saying? Brown and black people of like un merengue, una vaina.
Un coro.
People and
And the duendes,
dancers, the
and
duendes. That
una
was
vaina,
amazing.
and all I said, all I kept looking at was George Washington rolling his eyes like, coño.
Pero para esto fue que yo hice este país.
and it's crazy. And then and a bunch of little Dominican flags that I'm sure were made in China. But I was very, very appreciative of the flags that they had flags.
They did it. and one on every chair too. Like,
oh wow.
Okay.
And so
they went all out.
Say, man, they gave you a little parting gift on the way out.
Yes.
Oh no, and that was the exit part, but
Yeah.
And so you there, and you're like, wow, man, this is City Hall, pero mira, tú estás encendido, and but a part of me, because it is local politics, and they didn't even allow you to have some brugal or nothing. Tú estás ahí, seco, bro.
No food?
The food was after the fact.
Okay.
But then I thought about it. I'm like, yo, because we do be on some messy shit, y dejamos los platos.
And it was like in a box too, so like llévatelo por tu casa.
It was nicely wrapped though.
It was beautiful. It was
to
nice.
go boxes,
Hasta
to
la
go
salami
boxes.
en una bolsita.
Yo, they literally give you they gave you like patelito and a salami.
Get the
Vete
fuck
pa'
out,
casa.
Yeah.
Do you want the salami? Take
En
it.
tu casa, fríelo en tu casa.
Mierda.
And so, yo, you there. And I'm like, all right, cool. And I'm like, damn, man, this is probably going to be a while. But it turned out that everybody was super nice. And the messages were mad beautiful because... And I walked away with like a sense of orgullo, bro. Like, mad proud.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. Sometimes you start questioning shit. But no, I was like, all right. And then there was this young little, young woman. That was a presentation you gave from afar. I was like on the 5th row. I wasn't like that up close. And I was like, wow, young woman. And you dropped a whole spoken word poem too at that. And she came up and she grabbed the mic and she was like, nah, this shit's too tall for me. Lowered it a little bit.
Everywhere I go.
And I was like, all right, she's taking command of this shit. Porque a veces, if you don't know what you're doing, the mic is up top y tú lo dejas ahí.
Right.
And so she's there. She was dropping. As soon as she went up there, she was like, yo, we gotta celebrate our blackness. We gotta take ownership and pride of that because historically speaking, Dominican Republic has a very, very what's the appropriate way of saying
Colorist.
this? Yo, yeah, we are. There's a lot of colorism in the country.
Yeah.
And so, porque pa uno no dice que uno es racista.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh shit, that is very nice. And there was like this one, really, really dark Dominican dude behind me and go, sí, es verdad. You would hear like randomly.
Finally.
Yeah. But you'd be surprised. There was people on the opposite. Like, what's she talking about?
For sure.
And so then there was the other extreme, the polarizing extreme of, the air being sucked out the room. Of like, ¿y qué lo que ella está diciendo?
My mom actually got a video of me, like, when I went on stage, while we're up to the podium, she got a video of me, and in the video you can hear these ladies like in front or behind or whatever going, ¿Qué?
Oh shit.
What?
Wow.
Like, yeah.
That's crazy.
I felt that too. I did. I mean, because motherfuckers be weird, but all that to say, when you dropped that, you came in very assertive and with a message and a position, I immediately was like in awe. And I was super proud of, someone sharing that position. And then, to even learn something even further, you're a published author, you're doing something amazing, right? I've said all this stuff to build up the scenery of how I saw you in that moment. But then when I got to know you even further after, before coming today, having you join us today, I was just blown away when she's like, yeah, I've done this, I've done that. I'm also a dancer, athlete. But, there's only so much I could do because I'm still in school. I'm only 17 years old. I was like, yo, hold up. This young girl has lived 2 more lives ahead of me.
For real.
She's straight killing it. And who we got on deck today is an absolutely phenomenal talent, author, softball player, athlete, and I think you're gonna just do everything in life, whatever it is that you choose to do. Yariana Torres.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, you captured that. So I am an athlete. I play softball. I was a dancer for a long time. I'm not a dancer anymore, but I published
anymore. You do know you have a whole entire lifetime.
Yeah, you haven't even hit the legal. You're not even 18 yet.
Matter of fact, before we even go off on that, I took the liberty. I was like, I was going through your IG really quickly. Outside of the other stuff, outside of like doing the basic research, but there's this one poem she has on IG called Bumblebee. and it goes like this. And like this is how I read it, right? This is, I'm assuming at the time it came out, July 1st, 2023. So what, you were 16?
Yeah.
Okay. So it goes, talking in code was fun while it lasted. Now I find myself longing for one of our games of red light, green light, 1, 2, 3. This summer is zooming by, and next summer won't be a summer at all. Because next summer it won't be a summer at all. It'll be the beginning of adulthood, and I'll be wishing I can relive it all.
Oh my God.
Dropping
And I'm
bars.
like, yo,
Dropping bars.
That's not over.
No. Don't rush it. Wait.
yo.
Don't rush it.
And I was just like, you know what, man? I still dress myself like I'm a 12-year-old. So shout out to you. I mean, so like, what's your drive? Share with me at what point. I mean, you feel that there was that transition of, I'm committed to doing whatever it is you wish to do.
That's a difficult question because I've been writing since I was mad young. Like,
And what is mad young? Please define.
11, 10.
yes,
I've been writing
a couple of years ago.
since I learned so I remember when I was young, and I always tell this story. My mom would like.
Shout out to your mom, by the way, who is here.
Yes. Shout out to her.
You can't hear it, but there's an applause.
So my mom, I was always like on my mom's hip. Wherever my mom was, I was. And she was doing like all these extra business things. And I was always with her, always. And specifically, I remember there used to be this laundry shop on our block. Or it's still there technically, but it's not our block anymore. And when we would do laundry, we would go poner la ropa a lavar. Y íbamos para el dollar store, para el deli. Y volvíamos and we would play cards. So on one of these trips, she takes me to the dollar store. And there's these little tiny journals with like mad emojis on them. Like, I remember this vividly. And I remember writing this story. Wow, getting ahead of myself. Writing this story. It was so dumb. It was called like The Tale of Two Princesses. And it was about princesses with tails. Like, actually.
Oh, shit.
And I remember thinking, I was like 10 or 11. I was like, I'm going to publish this when I'm 12. And I'm going to be a 12-year-old published author. And I'm going to be the youngest published author in the world. But I thought this internally. Like, I never spoke it out loud. I never said it. Because it's like, chamaquito, like, you know.
No. I'm going to tell you right now.
No,
everybody.
We didn't think like that, 12. Publish books and all that shit. No.
I don't think I learned what publishing was until like I was 18.
Man, I was running away from books at that age.
I remember specifically,
let alone write it.
James Patterson had these books when I was younger, and it was his face and like a bio. And I remember I wanted my face with a bio on my book. And but that's what I was imagining. I was like, I'm gonna be 12 and I'm gonna publish this and I'm gonna be James Patterson, but I'm gonna be 12 and I'm gonna be black and I'm gonna be Dominican and I'm gonna be, but
James Patterson. Fucking shout out to James Patterson.
Nothing. Forget that. Move on. I kept writing always. I kept writing poetry.
Move on. You mean the following week?
Middle school. We went from 5th grade to middle school, right? I would write. So I noticed that I would never ever finish a notebook for any subject. So I would do my homework and stuff in the front, and then I would flip to the back, and all my poems was in the back of my school books. And like one day I was talking to my gym teacher, man, random, but he was a poet. Shout out Mr. Brown. And he actually, moving forward, ended up writing the foreword to my book, which is like an intro to your book.
Snap. By the way, the name of the book is called, guess what it is? Halfway There. I don't know where halfway there is. I was like, coño, pero I'm definitely gonna pick up a copy because I'm like, yo, I am once again genuinely curious to I'm not even a quarter way to where I want to be, and if you're already halfway there, like Matt,
you're doing good. You're doing good.
Matt props.
But yeah, he connected me with Jessica Diaz. So shout out Jessica Diaz. Shout out my random people on the way. She connected me to DreamYard, and then she ended up like sponsoring a workshop that they had, and she like paid it for me, which was a poetry consortium, and it was the coolest thing I ever did in my life. It was like high school students and college education majors, and like we would connect and write poetry and all this stuff. And like they pushed me so far out of my comfort zone. I met an author, Nate Marshall, who I was like you read somebody's book and then you meet them and you're like, oh my gosh. And it was just so like from there I was like, yeah, I know I want to do this, right? Then I got in contact with Dominican writers, started going to their open mics, and Angy, which I'm sure, like, if
shout out to Angy Abreu.
If you part of this world, you know Angy. I was talking to my mom about that. Like, Angy knows everybody, you know. And she comes up to me and she's like, when you gonna publish your book? And I was like, girl, I'm 15. I was 15 at the time. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, oh my goodness. Like, and she just pushed me, and then introduced me to my editor, which is Roxana Calderon, which we celebrated.
Another shout out.
But yeah, and then it was just like moving a mile a minute. I published my book, and after that, it was just like, everything is, I don't know, you know how something happens and you I really can't tell you the story because it was like just fate, like things was falling into place. And now I'm getting into the habit of working hard for things and asking for things, but at that point in time it was just like everything was falling into place, and every event that I did, and every time I would promote my book, and every time somebody, like, it was very much coming to me. So now I'm working on seeking things, and that was my word for 2023 was seek, and like seek and you shall find, and like, you know, putting myself into this like
Someone keep dropping bombs so we can
you need to go to TED Talk. Like, for real. Because that might be impressive, because at 12 you said you wanted to publish a book, and at 15, 3 years later, you published your first book.
I published at 16, but I started the process at 15.
So you wrote a book in 1 year? Or it was a combination.
I wrote a book in 16 years. It was everything, not everything, because, you know, you leave out certain things.
You wrote a book out in 16 years. As soon as she came out, that way could be. But
yeah, it was everything I'd done. Like, there's poems in there from when I was 10, 12, 13, 14. There's poems in there that I added the day before the publishing. Like, that book is truly a concise story of my life, you know.
Wow.
But people tell me, like, when did you find the time, or like, when's the next book? And I was like, it took me my whole life to write this one, so hold on for the next one, because I just need a little more time, you know.
By 30 I got the next one. By 30 I'm dropping the next one.
Because one needs more lived experiences.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. What are you seeking?
Oh yeah, because so 2023 was seeking. And before answer that, before you answer that question, then you also have to end it with what's 2024's motto. But go ahead.
Oh my goodness, I meant 2024. My word for 2024 is seek.
That's what I got.
Yes. Oh, okay. I thought because when you said you dropped the book on 2023, I thought you were still talking 2023.
No.
So what was the word? What was the motto for 2023 then?
There was none.
Oh, so
there was none.
Now it's intentional.
2023 was very random. 2024 is more intentional.
Got it.
So my word was seek because I'm a page in a library, but I want to do something where, like, I can fully branch out and learn. You know, like, being in a library is an amazing job. I love every opportunity that I've ever had there. But, like, I want to do something, like, where I'm learning and I'm, you know, like, interning at a publishing house, interning in a PR firm, interning with a film producer, doing something where I'm learning about what I want to do in the future, or, like, where I'm testing out the waters and I'm like, do I want to do this? I don't know. Learning more about the world around me, you know? So specifically when I came up with the word seek, it was about applying. Like, I already had my job, so I was getting very, like, kind of weak about applying to things and applying to internships.
What do you mean weak?
Like, I was always applying to stuff in the past. Like, even things I didn't qualify for.
You took a week off. She got lazy for one.
Okay, like week? W-E-A-K or W-E-E-K?
That's what I'm saying.
W-E-A-K. Yeah, like, I got weak with it,
so I'm assuming she just got lazy. Una semana. She's like, ya estoy cansada de esta vaina.
I lived too long. I've done too much already.
Retirement plan.
Specifically, it was about, like, I'm starting college applications. So specifically, apply to scholarships, apply to grants, apply to things like that, because where the money gonna come from for college, you know?
Right.
But that's where the word seek comes from. That's what I'm seeking. I'm seeking disponibilidad. Like, what am I gonna do? What is available for me? Where's the free money for my tuition? Where's the free, you know, where's the opportunities? I know people who go to college and they get paid to go to college. And that's what I'm trying to do. Like, to cover my tuition and then still have extra to fund my books and to fund the podcast. Like,
what programs are you looking at? What schools are you looking at?
So my dream school is Barnard. I want to go to Barnard on 116th, right here in the city, right on the 1 train. Like, it's so accessible. I love it. But New York City is, like, don't get me wrong, we have our CUNYs and our SUNYs and they're great, but we are really, like, at a lack for, like, good schools in the city. Like I'm like in the Bronx. Like I want to be able to go to school in the Bronx but still get an Ivy League education, man. And I wanted to go to an HBCU. We don't even have an HBCU in New York. I'd have to go to like Washington or whatever. So I was like, I'm just a little bit defeated by that, you know? But so far, St. John's is my top choice after Barnard. So if not, then I'd probably go to Boston, Emerson, or UConn, Connecticut, UPenn. You know, in New York, but like tri-state area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Close by.
Yeah. Train
Close
right
enough
away.
by to mama.
Yeah. I've always thought, like, after I made years and years, I've been doing this for like 4 years almost. I've made years and years of connections to just move to another state and like. Hello, like I'm gonna just leave the connections here, you know. I don't want to. I see New York for me like as an eternal, like I'm gonna always be in New York with the occasional like I'm gonna live a year in Italy, I'm gonna live a year here, but like in New York is my home. New York is where I always want to be.
What's the application process been like so far?
So I've been writing a lot of essays. For a lot of scholarships you have to write essays, and I've been slacking with like applying to jobs and applying to internships just because the season is kind of over. Like, you have to, like, be in the perfect season for something. And applications, annoyingly, will close, like, a whole year before the start of the freaking program. So it's like, you got to apply in March when you're looking for something in October, you know? So it's very difficult to, like... But I recently applied to something that I'm very excited for because it starts off virtual. So I will be able to keep my job in the library, do softball, do school, and have that second job virtually, you know?
Yo estoy cansado.
That schedule sounds great.
And it is. And I just recently started working. I say that I work 12-hour shifts because you wake up at 6, go to school at 8, get out at 3, work at 3:30 to 9. Like, that's a 12-hour shift to me. You know what I mean? So, like, when people are like, hey, ¿por qué tú estás cansado? Yeah, I work 12 hours. Like, don't play with me. And I do softball, you know.
You've already started the undergrad schedule before getting into undergrad.
And I'm grateful for that. You know, because, like, a lot of kids my age, when they get to college, they're like, this is not what I expected. So I'm trying to, like, I don't want to say burden myself, but I'm trying to take on more than I can do. I say that in quotes because I believe I can do anything I want to. I believe anyone can do anything they want to. But I'm trying to take on more than I can do now so that when I get to college, I'm like, this is a breeze, you know? Because it does get difficult, yo. Like, I have friends who are like, nah, yeah, I can't take this. And they drop out because it's a very strenuous, like, rigorous process if you're not, especially coming from an NYC public school. Like, you get there and you're like, ooh, where am I? Like, what is this? You know, there's not a lot of preparation for it. You know,
it sounds like it's a lot of work, and for somebody your age, it's like, what do you do for fun?
I do this for fun.
So I'm talking about drop a bomb. That's what I'm talking about. Work is fun.
Also,
that's what I'm talking about.
There's less sleep.
Yeah,
I remember like sleeping 4 hours in undergrad.
Yeah, that's
almost every night.
Yeah, like,
it was crazy.
And something that will shock. I will have a day. I would like, so my work schedule varies. Some days I get out at 9, some days I get out at 6. And even on the days where I get out at 6, I get home and I still fall asleep at 12. And it's like you always got something to do, yo. And if I'm not writing an essay, if I'm not fixing my resume, if I'm not cleaning my room, if I'm not, like, it's always, I'm falling asleep at 12. No matter what time I get out, no matter what I have to do. But I just kind of accepted it because there's nothing you could do about it at this point. And the more guilty you make yourself feel about, I'm going to sleep late, oh my God, you're making yourself feel worse about it, you know? And when you just accept it and you're like, it's okay, and you take a nap every now and again, and you do what you gotta do, you feel better as a person, you know?
I gotta start doing more shit.
No. God damn. It peters out as you get older.
I thought gym, cleaning the house, and working was like, you know, I'm not doing shit with my life right now.
Oh, no. Now I'm like, I need
now it's go time. I can't fuck around no more. It's go time.
You said it's good. Look at you motivated full-grown adults over here.
Damn, yeah, congratulations with that drive.
Como que su pausa, como que you don't want to do nothing.
Damn.
And I be feeling unmotivated and I be doing nothing. Like, I go through my little phases. Everybody does.
Yeah,
you know?
try not to lose that energy because once you climb up that age ladder, That shit starts.
Oh yeah. You feel those 4 hours.
Oh yeah, you feel
I don't
it,
do
so.
those 4 hours anymore.
Well, we're not trying to paint a scary picture of the future.
No.
I'm just sharing you sleep more because you prioritize sleep more.
Yeah. And I do want to get to that point eventually, but I think prioritizing sleep is a privilege.
Yeah.
Like when you don't have that's true. When you don't have the time, like, you know, everybody wants to like idolize this 8 hours of play, 8 hours of work, 8 hours of sleep when that's BS, because where does the time you get dressed, your time for commute, your time for X, your time for Y, like people want to oversimplify things when that's not the way that it is, you know? So right now, sleep is not my priority just because I know where I want to get. The same way like running around, being on Dykeman is not my priority because I know where I want to get, you know? No shots to the people who want to be on Dykeman. Go ahead and be on Dykeman. And I do make time for that. If it's somebody's birthday, I be on, you know.
But you 17, right? Nobody should be letting you in anywhere on Dykeman, by the way.
I think that's ain't that the age nowadays?
Yeah. I mean, number one, I'm just saying.
They're not body checking like these no more.
I mean, do you? I live my life. I already know how this shit works. But let's be real.
Yeah.
She's gonna get a coffee on Dykeman for the purposes of the show.
No,
Yes.
with that, yeah.
Un juguito, baby, un juguito.
Un juguito. Ya, vamos tú y yo a hablar.
No hookah.
No hookah.
No, I actually don't. I've like every time I make friends who are smokers and they're like, yeah, I smoke weed. No, I always hear like, I wish I could stop, or don't do it, or I quit.
Wow.
So
you're at your age.
Yeah, like 17-year-olds who are like, don't do it, don't ever get into it. So I'm like, okay, I'm never gonna get into it, cause like, if you hear from everybody, don't do it. It's one thing if you're hearing from people who don't do it, but if you're hearing from people who do it, I've just kind of been like, oh, where? Okay, never mind. Like, just keep it pushing, stay straight on what I want to do. And you know, that's no shade, no hate, because I know a lot of smokers who have brilliant minds, you know, and like their creativity and the way they think. I've never met any people who think like that. But everyone has their own niches and everyone has their own things they want to do.
So, what is your relationship to your peers right now? In terms of really like where you're working at, where you want to go.
So school is like socializing for me because I don't go out a lot. I don't, you know. So when I go to school, and I just recently started making friends.
Fucking nerd.
Coolidge. Priorities are different.
Yeah. So I'm in my final few months, and I feel like this happens to everyone. I'm in my final few months of my senior year, and I'm just getting to know the other seniors. So you know, it's been an experience because everybody. I don't know why, but everybody's always like, Yadi, I thought you were so mean, and I never wanted to approach you. And I get a lot that I have like a resting bitch face, like, you know, you hear that a lot. But I'm always like, if you just approach me, like, I'm nice and I'm kind. So now everyone's like, oh, word, you are nice. And I've had more people approaching me, and I approach more people, and I've gotten to like socializing. For me is fun because you get to like see how people think, and everyone thinks differently. So it's like I'll meet people and I'm like, oh, word, like I never would have thought like that, and then that sparks something in you, and you're like, oh, now I see, now I'm connecting dots, now I'm learning, now I'm like, I've always been like, a lot of people are like, oh, you don't have anything to learn from us, look at you. No, I feel like you always have stuff to learn from your peers, whether they be younger or older. And I say that even to the people older than me. Like, I have stuff to learn from you, but you have stuff to learn from me, and vice versa. Like, when I was doing dance, I was teaching 4, 5, 6-year-olds, and I learned so much from them. Not the experience. I learned from them and their hearts and their kindness and their naivete. Like, you know what I mean? Where's the naivete? I don't know.
No, I know what you're saying. Yeah, just so you know, every time your daughter, this young lady, says something meaningful and significant, I've been dropping bombs the entire episode.
It's insane.
¿Qué fue lo que tú le enseñaste?
Yeah. Are you an only child?
No, I have a younger sister.
You have a younger sister?
Yeah,
Is
I'm
she
the
a
oldest.
published poet too?
No, but she's a singer. She's a singer.
She haven't hit 15 yet to publish a book.
She's in a program
Give us some
right
time.
now.
Give us
like,
some
a
time.
medicine
Whole
pro-
album already.
Yeah, exactly.
Her greatest hits is coming out at 16.
She's more like scientific. She's in a program because she want to go to med school.
Oh,
so yeah, she's
Okay. Shout
she's
out
on
to
her
your
way
mom.
there. Yeah.
Good job, Mama.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm blown away. I ain't even gonna lie. Like, that's amazing.
Oh man. So what now? Next year you're going to college, then, right? Or is it? It would be this
It'll
semester.
be this year, like August, September.
August. So this and this fall.
I'll share with you the reason why the applications are so early. I teach, so now I'm on the other side of why that process happens. Is because the teachers need to know who they're accepting, so they can get as much funding as possible from them for the budget reasons of the school. So it's like something way higher, like just above them, and they like, trust me, the teachers don't want to choose early because it's so quick and it happens so fast and it happens in the middle of everything. So that's why they ask for like way in advance for the applications, because it's to try to get more money for the students and the scholarships and all that.
Which makes sense.
Nice.
Yeah. You're like, I don't give a fuck.
I know.
I got mad shit to do.
Yeah, word up. I got no time for this
shit. Those applications are a pain in the ass.
I got no time to be signing all these applications.
They're a pain in the ass.
I mean, once you have your like generated responses, like you go into your little like notes files and you're like, oh, I've had this question before, and you just copy and paste a response that you've had previously, which is like that is the good part of like doing things over and over again, which is like you have a routine and you have a set, like paragraph that you put everywhere, I guess.
So you're gonna go to school this fall. Do you have an idea of where you think you might be going?
Yeah. Where?
Yeah.
Well, it depends. Right now, St. John's is my top choice from who has accepted me so far.
Oh, okay, so you already been accepted.
Yeah.
Oh, I drop a bomb.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, there you go. She already got schools on deck.
I thought it was still like a hopeful situation.
Nah.
But it's very funny, actually, which is why I tell people, like, you hear all your life, like, the college application process is not about you. It's about the colleges. And you're like, that's BS. Like, what? How do I have to write my essay to get in certain places? But it's funny because, like, with my resume and my, like, all the things that I've done, my extracurriculars, I'm getting
You're like, with all my accolades and my accomplishments, surely
all the amazing shit I have done in my short life.
I am making you look good.
I am black Dominican and I've done mad shit. ¿Qué más tú quieres? You're checking off like 300 boxes.
PR dream team. PR dream team.
What I mean to say though is like I'm getting accepted into private universities and I'm getting denied from like Lehman, Baruch, like that's why I've learned it's not about me, it's about the process, because my friends are freaking out like, oh my gosh, you're gonna get in everywhere and I'm not, but it's literally about the process, because look at you got into Lehman, sis, and I didn't, and like Lehman's down the block from me, so it's like
is that where you really wanted to go though?
No,
so
but the thing is, what I want to go into is a lot about networking and a lot about connections, and I feel like I wouldn't have found that at Lehman. You know what I mean?
I'm fully aware of what you're saying.
Like there's certain careers that you could do tú puedes hacer tu carrera donde sea. If you want to be a nurse, you could do that anywhere. If you want to be a doctor, you could do that anywhere. But like with PR, because I want to go into PR, it's like I gotta be meticulous about where I go and what internships I do and if I do this and if I do that. You know what I mean? Like very, very like kind of detailed and like pinpoint what you want to do and what you don't want to do, where you want to be, where you don't want to be.
Why PR?
That is a really good question. So,
because wouldn't you want to just get higher PR for you? Like,
so I wanted to be a teacher for a long time, and I think it was just because of like my experience with dance. I'm really good with kids. I love working with kids, and because in the scene you see that every writer is like, oh, I teach, and I was like, oh, that's gonna be me. I'm gonna teach, and I already had the experience of being like, I'm good with kids, so I was like, that's it. I'm gonna be like everybody else. I'm gonna teach and I'm gonna do XYZ. But when I got into an internship that I did a while ago, which was actually my first job with NYPR, I was a teen civics ambassador. I did this specific event where I did a grand opening and I gave a speech alongside Mayor Adams. And I remember going home and telling my mom about it, and she, go ahead, go drop your bomb. Drop your bomb, bro.
Yeah. Number one, it ain't my bomb, it's your bomb. I'm gonna throw horns in there too, okay?
So I remember going home and telling my mom all about it and being just like ecstatic, like I was so happy. It was I want to say like a shifting point between, because I had always kept like what I want to do professionally and my writing separate, and this was when it finally started to collide for me. And I was telling my mom, and she was like, I don't know why you want to go into teaching if you should go into doing things like that if they make you so happy. And I was like, yo, that's facts. But I was like, I did not know what to do.
Shout out to mom for dropping the bomb.
She's my everything. Like, she really pushes me and motivates me to go further, and my dad as well.
Thank you. I didn't want to ask.
I hear a lot a lot of fathers. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know that story.
Can we give my man
give us some horns.
I'm gonna show my nigga pay the bills. Hey, you got the. You want to write? Well, you need lights.
So that's when I realized, like, what am I doing? What is it that I'm doing right now? What is the title for this? What is the label? Like, what is the box that I have to be into to fit into society standards? Because I can't just freelance my whole life. And I did an event for the Met too, and these things started clicking, and I was like, okay, maybe I want to go into PR. Maybe I want to go into, you know, coordinating events. Maybe I want to go into being the face of a company. Maybe I want to go into, you know, writing statements and doing, you know, all these things, because that is what I'm good at. That is what I like. And I love working with kids, and I do believe that, you know, if I would have done it, I would have loved to do that. But I think truly the shift that I mentioned was about how can my personal life benefit my work life, benefit my business life, benefit my, you know, like a cycle of like, what's the difference between work and business, and how can I connect it, and how can I fit my personal life into that, you know?
So cognizant. I was nowhere like that at that age.
You got like the answers of life at, at 16 years old,
Barely
17 years old.
figuring it out now.
You got the answers of life, bro. I didn't even try to connect those.
Like a very, very big part of me is like super proud and, you know, just in awe. And another part of me is like talking to 12-year-old me. Coñazo, ¿qué tú hiciste con tu fucking vida, bro? ¿Qué fue lo que tú estabas haciendo? Explícame, pero dime. And it's like,
but
no, aquí tú sabes.
You'd be surprised though, because that's how I feel sometimes too. Like one of my best friends is like, when she graduated high school, she had like a 98 average, and she was literally curing brain cancer. She was in an internship where she was learning how to cure brain cancer, and I felt so
like, I don't know, like, what the fuck is
yo, fuck like everybody that says like, the world is going bad.
Thank God.
The future's looking bad, because holy shit,
I ain't gonna lie,
17-year-old niggas is curing cancer, brain cancer.
We're good hands.
Esta vaina va a estar bien.
Thank God. Yeah.
And I felt so like, what am I gonna do? Cause
yo,
listen though, I'm really good at what I do, but I'm not a fan of school. I feel like school holds me back in every way possible. I haven't let me not say that, like, but I haven't really learned something that I know can motivate me and push me forward since I was young, you know. So I feel like high school for me, and don't get me wrong, I make a lot of connections with teachers, and I've had teachers reach out to me to buy books for their classroom, and teachers reach out to me to speak at graduations and whatnot. And that's how I feel high school is benefiting me. But and it's not just me. All of the students in modern day America feel like high school is holding us back. And I think the system is very like, you need to do X, Y, Z.
Is it my fault?
No, I think so.
It ain't mine.
It's not mine. I'm outside.
Shit.
But
oh man, you taking away
the
most inspirational speech.
I want to say I have at least a job. It's my work phone. She's killing us right now, okay? One of my clients is calling me, okay? So we work too. My bad. I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry for fucking it up. I'm so sorry.
Over here giving a whole fucking motivational speech.
I'm busy too, goddammit.
He's saving lives out here.
You know, I'm busy too, goddammit.
Oh my God.
You're good. Don't worry about
it. That actually happens to me a lot. I always like, I can't, do not talk to me while I'm eating or drinking, because
at least that's the first. Yeah, we got it in the podcast. Don't worry about it. You're good. You're good. Don't worry about it.
I don't even remember what I was talking about now.
No, you were talking about
how schools connect
students in America are feeling that school isn't doing justice.
The system is definitely failing us, because if you're a high school student, and I think even middle school students, because, you know, but it's definitely about how can I get the grade that I want to get. Nobody's thinking about what they're learning. We're thinking about how can we get the grade that we want to get. We're thinking about, you know, I need to get this done because I need that 100 to up my grade. Nobody in or I'm speaking for the people that I know, people in Bronx public school systems. Nobody is thinking, how can I learn? We're thinking, how can I get the grade I want to get? How can I get that 90? How can I get that 100? And that is holding us back so much. And there's teachers that are so innovative and creative, and there are certain classrooms where you go, I want to learn here. But it's not a unanimous, I want to learn in every classroom. It's, I want to learn in this classroom, you know? So it's very, I think, you know, and I said I didn't want to get into politics, and I got into it myself.
It's
but
okay.
I think we really need to focus on the teachers that we put to basically mold the minds of our students. Because I've had so many good teachers who, like, will push me forward and motivate me and teach me, and that doesn't mean I gotta like them, because I've had teachers I did not like who still push me forward and motivate me and teach me things that I have never even, you know, thought of that like better my writing. But I've had a lot of teachers too that just are also very focused on the grade, and they don't like help you learn, which is what I think teaching should be about, you know, like it should be about learning. And I think it should be mutual learning too. Like how can students teach each other? How can teachers learn from students? How can students then go on to teach a lesson about this to younger kids or whatever, you know?
I wish to share something with you that I hope will never in your life ever take away from your outlook. Because currently, you are very, very young, and your outlook is the way it should be. It's a very optimistic one, and the energy is there for it. However, I hope you decide to continue that outlook forever, because the realities of how systems are designed, whether it's something as simple as a curriculum, all the way to an economic system, a social justice system, and things are designed. Once we find out, and it comes to a broad awareness of that the greater interest is never
in our favor.
Not in our favor as just, you know, society and people, but one has to decide what is the drive behind all of it. And once you begin to realize that the drive is not for the betterment of human beings, and it, you know, who is pocketing, and, you know, whose corporate interest is driving whatever politician and all that kind of shit, things can be deflating. And I think it's very important for one to remind themselves that, you know, whatever your truth is remains to be an absolute truth. Because there's a very big difference between moral truth. There's a very big difference from subjective truth. And, you know, there's just a difference of what we call the mass truth. And sometimes it doesn't make sense to me. I was sharing this with Lady H yesterday, how on a micro scale, basketball leagues are scared that with legalized gambling, how they're worried that players might manipulate the game. Then they don't want them to bet.
I think they do.
And I'm sure that kind of stuff happens. So on a macro scale and on a moral scale, you would think, hey, if you're worried about players manipulating the game because of betting, wouldn't we want to do that with the government and the stock market?
Of course.
Like, and so then you hear about how, you know, a dude that has a $200,000 year salary ends up having a $20 million net worth because of his, you know, they're not going to call it insider trading, but the insider information. So that, you know, that's their truth. Their truth is we're in a capitalistic society, and that's within their prerogative, and that's within their right. And so I would share with you that at whatever point in your life, when you do decide to accept that truth, you use it to navigate and insert your moral truth. Because I think that's the only way we can be aware to navigate these circumstances, because that's a part of a very big reality. And smashing our heads against the wall and saying that our truth is the only truth, and then being deflated and disappointed by it not being accepted as a truth, I think is very tough. So and that's just me sharing with you something that I wish somebody would have told me, because for a very long time, even in adulthood, I keep talking about the moral right. There is no moral right. It's about just, you know, embetterment and and the possibilities of building a better tomorrow and a better future. And quite frankly, like, I think you're doing fantastic, and I just, you know, shared that because I hope you continue to do even better. Yeah. And I'm sure, because as you mentioned, you're nowhere near your fucking ceiling, by the way. Like, nowhere near
at all.
There won't be a ceiling.
There won't be a ceiling.
Like, hey, don't put a fucking cap on her. I know, right? Don't put a cap on her, goddammit.
It's the sky.
No caps.
It's the sky.
The sky is not even the limit. That's where it starts. You hear me?
Yeah.
You know, yeah, man. You will be an astronaut. You'll be going to outer space. You'll be exploring new worlds and building your own. And even though if that's not what you see in your future, trust me, it'll be there, because shit, we're like, it has to happen.
And it is happening.
And it is happening.
And I see it happening.
And the good thing about your generation is that y'all got the information right in your hands.
Right? Oh
right in your hands. Also, we had encyclopedias. We had books and shit.
Actually, I will say, and I'm a mention something that happened to me recently.
Clear the throat.
You're about to drop some shit.
I feel like a lot of my generation is very scared into complacency. Like, we had an issue this week with a teacher where he was making us take a test in a way that was not the way a test should be taken. And I went
They don't give you the candies anymore? No.
No stars? No stars?
Take a test off a smart board, and from your seat, wherever you sat, in the back or the front, wherever you sat, you had to take your test off the smart board.
El diablo. Y si tú de atrás.
Or smart board? Is it like a touch screen board?
What is a smart board?
Una televisión, pero it's connected to a
those for
laptop.
real?
Yeah.
Shit.
Bro, step your game.
Damn.
Sorry, I come from chalkboards and whiteboards.
You know,
Erasers and shit.
I brought it to administration. I said, we cannot be taking tests like this. Administration was like, we agree, refuse to take the test. I told everyone in my class, refuse to take the test. You're being backed by administration. Refuse to take the test. There's nothing the teacher can do to you. You're being backed by administration.
Please tell me you was standing in front of the class telling that shit.
No,
That would have made it more dramatic.
So the way that it happened was only 5 students came with me and did not take the test. And I went into the class and I told the teacher, we're not taking the test. We are backed by administration. We have approval from administration to not take this test. And he goes, I'm not doing that till I get an email. So I went and I got someone from administration, and they spoke to him, and that person from administration spoke to the whole class and said, y'all don't have to take this test. If you don't want to take the test, don't take the test. And out of 30 students, only 6 people, including myself, did not take the test. So I feel like society is like, you know, we perpetuate this very like, stick it to the man, but the man is getting what they want at the end of the day.
Scared like, to walk out of your job.
For real.
But except 6.
Yeah, but 6 is real.
But like, everybody,
6 is good.
And I say this even myself, it's difficult for me to stand up sometimes, but like, stand up for yourself. But you need to just, like, when you feel that like boiling in your stomach and you feel that like, oh, I'm gonna do it. Don't psych yourself out of it. Do it, because you don't know how far you could get with something. Like, and this is something that I'm teaching myself now, and I was not shy, but like what I was saying earlier, I think as Dominicans, we're very prideful. So I would never ask anyone for help, number 1, and number 2, I would never ask for any handouts. So like what I did with you today, where I saw your IG, I read your bio, and I was like, I want to be on your podcast. I said it like that. I would not have done that a year ago, 2 years ago, because I was very like, that can't be done. I can't do that. You don't question like the norm, you know? And I think as humans, our nature is to question the norm. Our nature is curiosity. Like, that's a fact. I'm not making that up. And I think people are denying their curious nature because they're scared. So we're giving them what they want when we deny our curiosity, and we're like, nah, that's just the way things are.
Amen.
You see, she's living up to the 2024 word. She's seeking. She seeked
and
your podcast, and she said, you know what? I'm going to be in the podcast.
It's not even the end of quarter 1.
Bro, we in the second month.
I'm over here the one that's mad proud.
For real.
They reached out, yo, I'm interested. I'm like, ¿qué?
I know.
¿Y tú quieres hablar conmigo?
Yeah, she seeked it, and she's on it. That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
No.
So she living to her word.
Dropping so many bombs because my mind is blown.
For real.
You've led several lifetimes within your high school years. I've never even thought about let's not take a test. They can talk to administration. I would never even wanted to go to the office. To go back to what we were talking about, the information is readily available to you. I still think to myself, why do I still know the fucking Dewey system to find a book? Like, you know what I mean? Like, yo pasaba eran 2 horas tratando de buscar el libro. I used to find 2 hours trying to find this fucking book because if I misread the note, it's got to take it back. Just to find the card to tell me where the card is of where the book is at.
It's like that's the way things are done, and there are better systems, and you will bring the better systems to your bosses and to your supervisors, and they're like, that's the way things are done.
Yeah.
Why? You're the supervisor. Help me come up with a better system, But it's not just my generation. I think everyone in the world is so complacent, and I wish we could just get all unanimously together and be like, nah, we're not standing for this bullshit. Like, we are gonna stand up for what we believe in, but it's like it has to be on a unanimous level. It cannot be 2 people, 3 people. It cannot be certain advocates. It got to be everybody.
So you think it's fear or comfort or both?
I think it is both. I think I think it's very difficult to recognize fear, especially if you're a prideful person. I think you're like, yo no tengo miedo, pero yo no lo quiero hacer. I could stop if I wanted to, but I'm not gonna stop. Or I could start if I wanted to, but I'm not gonna start. So I think that it benefits certain people if we have that mentality, which is why nobody is like motivating people and pushing people and sparking the bomb. And like another shout out to
was that code for?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
But like another shout out to Angy, because I was very complacent in who I was, and she like sparked something in me and taught me that complacency should not be the norm. And I think that she does that with so many people, and Dominican Writers is a beautiful association because of her work and because of what she does, And I think there should be more organizations and more people like that for everything. Like, it shouldn't be just for writers. It should be for everything, Just a union is not enough. Where's your advocates,
So your crew of friends, they must think like you, because I don't see you just chilling with like the normal people outside. Like your crew of friends.
The people underestimate people, and I think that a lot of us have very similar ideas. And I have regular friends. Like, I'm 17. I have regular 17-year-old friends, minus the one that I mentioned that was trying to
stop chilling with them.
Wait. I need to know, what does regular mean?
Yeah, basic ass bitch.
No. That's very different from our regular. Very different.
Regular, they just cure cancer, shit like that. That's the regular. You know what I'm saying?
That is the outlier. But I have regular friends who go to school and go to work and go home.
But you're right. To your question, what is regular? Like, what do you consider regular?
I think regular is, within my community, within the Bronx, I think regular is someone who goes to school and goes to work and goes home. And I lived like that for a long time. And, regular people have irregular thoughts. Like, you cannot just put someone in a box and be like, she's a superstar. She's not. Because people have the seeds inside of them. And when you talk to them, you learn. But a lot of people are just not willing to talk to someone because they're not in their bracket. But that person got better ideas than you. Like, I've heard people who have never had any, like, people like put me on a pedestal because of my extracurriculars and whatnot. But I know people who have no extracurriculars, just doing high school, no jobs. And they say things that blow my mind. They say things that it's like, yo, you need to be in my spot, not me. So when you try to put people in these boxes of what's regular, what's not, what's smart, what's not, you're really like ruining somebody's chances of even how they view themselves, because that, like, you internalize that.
Is there a question that we could ask you that you don't got the perfect fucking answer to? like we haven't caught it yet with the not one time, son. Jesus.
Public relations is definitely your game.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like you need to start thinking about, if you haven't already, what you can create that's your own. That instead of working for someone else.
Stop thinking like wanting to be an employee. Start thinking of wanting to be the employer.
You need you're vocalizing that you want to see these shifts happen in organizations, that you want to see people not be complacent within these organizations and supervisors implement these new suggestions and best idea wins, right? I think you should be creating your own organization.
It's so funny that you mentioned that, because my website, nobody has a .org web. Like, you're not supposed to do that. But I did not know that at the time, and I put my website, yarianawrites.org, because I felt like it looked better than .com. And afterwards we learned I was not supposed to do that. I was supposed to put .com. But my mom was always like, you never know, like maybe you're gonna have an organization in the future.
Start a nonprofit. Just apply for a nonprofit.
Yeah. And I was like, Mom, what are you talking about? I don't want to have an organization. But like, you never know where you're gonna end up. And I was talking to my mom about this the other day. Like, one day you're here and the next day you're here, and you don't know how you got there. And time, I'm a believer, like, there's this theory about how you view time. It's like I read about it a long time ago, so I can't really explain it to you right now.
2 weeks ago.
No, I was young.
15.
I was young, guys. I promise. I was like maybe 12.
It was like 5 years ago.
There's people who, like, if you say, oh, and then 2 hours pass, there's people who like think that time is shifting through them, or there's people who think they're walking through time. And this is subconscious. This is not someone who's like, time goes through me. No. But I truly believe that we are specks. Like, you are a speck of dust the same way everyone else is in this world. And there's so much dust that you are a speck. And I think that time flows through us. Like, we do not have, I don't think anyone has the authority to walk through time. Time goes through you. And if you don't, like, reach out into, like, I'm gonna say this, I don't even know what it means. It's just the word that popped up in my head. Into the space-time continuum and, like, grab what you want.
Even makes it all work.
No, I know that's from, like, the Ant-Man movie, like, from Marvel. But, like, you know, when you, like, time is flowing through you. If you don't take advantage and grab things that you see, you're gonna end up in a place where you're just like, wow, I could have done so much. But it's like, things are like flowing through you and you don't acknowledge them. And that acknowledgement is hard, let me tell you. Like, I'm sitting here and I'm speaking as if it was easy, but it's really not. Acknowledging where you are and what are the opportunities around you is so difficult when you're trapped in your bubble. And, you know, especially of, like, in this bubble of, like, 9 to 5. In this bubble of, like, I'm gonna need 2 jobs because 1 job is not enough. In this bubble of, like, I need to go to college to get a degree I don't want to get so that I could get this job that I maybe am, you know. These bubbles are stopping people from, like, looking outside of their bubbles and seeing what they want to grab while time is flowing through them, you know?
Amen.
Yo, I'm looking up what space-time continuum is. So I was like, yeah, let me find out.
Well, don't ask the Texas Tech player who doesn't believe in space what that is.
You'll saw that. Can I guess what it is first?
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
don't know what it is. I feel like it's like different dimensions, right? It's like how there's different possibilities of things happening at once.
Well, I just put, what is space-time continuum? And it just says, events take place in space and time. A fundamental fact that is between any 2 points. Another point can be found, and between any 2 moments, there is always another moment. There is no gaps in space or time, and each is, therefore said, a form of continuum.
So something's always happening.
Eso es.
Yeah. Everywhere, wait, what is it?
Everywhere, everything,
all
at once.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, shit, what you've dropped is...
Start grabbing. Start fucking grabbing.
Start fucking grabbing. The world doesn't wait for you.
No, it doesn't. I'll share, like, what was it? More than 10 years ago when I was like, I want to be a costume designer and I want to be designing these shows, I'm doing that stuff right now.
Yeah.
With the budgets, I'm already getting the offers
but you see,
I want.
Because you didn't mention budget. The space-time continuum didn't mention that shit.
No. But like the scale of this, you know, the offer I just got is the scale that I wanted, plus 10 years ago. I'm like, oh shit. Everything that I
Can
set
I
out
ask you something? Because
yeah.
your career has always interested me.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, now she's gonna take on a new career. Okay, why not?
There we go.
No, but I've very, like, if I see a movie, I will watch videos, like video essays about the design and the costume design in that
That's
movie.
amazing. Good for you. Good for you.
I barely go through the credits, bro. She's looking at costume design.
No, but it's a lot more interesting than it sounds.
No.
Like, what is it like?
I love it.
Like, what do you do on your day-to-day? designing costumes for that?
It's very different day to day, which is what I love. I don't like something that feels continuous and monotonous.
Yeah, like if you're designing for a modern day play, it's different than if you're designing for like 1800s.
Absolutely,
medieval.
but actually the process is the same. It's the shapes that you're working with, that's different. So if I'm going to look at a show, the first process is reading the script, obviously. So what is the show?
Getting the vibe.
Yeah, like what is the story that's being told with the characters? Second process is talking with the director or the other collaborators, set designers, sound designer, lighting designer, and then it's my favorite part, which is the research, follows that.
Oh,
so
that's my least favorite part.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of
it's
research.
looking at pictures.
I'm not a fan of.
Yo, bro, el día entero, mad pictures every week. ¿Qué esta vaina?
I believe in research, but I hate sitting down and doing like marginalized research. I think research should be a part of daily life, you know. And like when you see something, and I do think people without knowing it research things daily. Like when someone does a repost and they repost something they believe in, and you click that repost, you're doing research because you're learning more and you're going through the thread of like, oh, I didn't know that. Like that's research, and people like. I don't do research. But that's to me that is. I don't know.
That is research.
That is research. I'm gonna say I'm doing research every day on the gram. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean,
what did you do that? Worked. You know, I went to the gym. I researched. Just to sound good. Just to sound good.
The difference is intentional research.
Yes.
So I'm intentionally researching whatever the world is.
Yeah.
So
Watching bitches twerk on Instagram doesn't count, bro.
No, but I just did a show about Colombian prostitutes.
There you go. You see, research.
I had to go to Instagram accounts that had specific photos, and so if I'm looking at this stuff on my screen and these images of these women pop up, I have to be like,
research, bro.
This is research.
Research.
Intentional research.
Yeah.
Intentional research.
Yeah. So research is a part of it, and then it's finding the characters and the shapes in that whatever period that is,
That's
and
so
then
dope.
drawing
That's
it.
so dope. I'd love to shadow you one day and just see what
absolutely.
you do. That sounds amazing.
Make a connection.
Yo, esta
She's
chamaquita
good.
no
She's
duerme,
good,
bro.
bro. No duerme. No duerme.
But I wanted to share all of that to say, like, I did
When
that
y'all go to
intention.
do you go to Boston?
Can I
Oh, my
finish?
bad.
Thank you.
No dije nada, my bad.
Thank you. Save it though. So I brought all that, the intentions from 10 plus years ago. Now it's coming to life. And now in this bubble that I'm in, now that you mention it, I'm in the bubble of costume design and teaching. I want another completely different intention for the next 10 years. And that's something that we're growing together and building. So, and this is just proof right now, like, oh shit, 10 years ago, that's what I wanted. And now I'm looking 10 years ahead and I want something bigger and better. And
there you go.
With more agency.
That's a good word.
Yeah.
I think what I mentioned earlier that my word of 2024 was seek. I didn't come up with that myself. That was literally an assignment for an innovative, creative classroom, as I was mentioning, a teacher who cares about what her students are learning. And that is like the best advice I could give anyone, especially with peers. Like, sit down, take time and pick a word and talk about your word. And people will have insights on your word and it will lead you to be more intentional. And I was never like that. I was never intentional about anything. And
Same.
I'm so like, that is my goal, is to be so intentional that I have a schedule and I'm scheduled down to a minute. Like, you know what I mean? People.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you, don't do that. Yo, because you'll set yourself up for so much disappointment.
That too.
Because yo, that shit keeps getting pushed back.
That's true though.
So I mean, I'm just sharing. That's my experience because that intent, and I don't mean to cut you off. Obviously, yo, you are driven.
No, go ahead. It's your podcast.
No, fuck me. Yeah. The thing is that it's one of those things where now you set yourself up for disappointment. However, psychologically,
it's difficult.
You start not realizing how much you do not factor in. You know, you say you want to make a green juice. Ahí se te va una hora.
Yo, word.
Yeah.
Word though.
That's if you want to be healthy, or you're paying $17 for a green juice.
Yeah.
So you bought yourself the time, right? But walking to and from the green juice store, and then ya se fueron 25 minutes.
It's like what we was talking about with the work play sleep.
Yeah.
They know, like, this is oversimplified. You cannot oversimplify your life because you're gonna.
And then again, life happens. Anything can happen. You got one phone call. You got to be somewhere. You can't do this mission because.
Yeah.
But if you zoom out and you extrapolate and you look at the progress, there's still progress.
Oh no, there is absolutely.
That's the key right there. That's the key right there.
Yeah. No. And you're absolutely right. However, when you said minute to minute,
that's hard.
That was an exaggeration.
No. I felt like you meant it. You don't strike me as someone
like somebody that exaggerates.
You're speaking with intention. You're seeking.
Yeah.
Después tú vas a encontrar esa vaina and you're doing it minute to minute, and then you're like, yo, mom, bro, this is hard.
Yeah.
I don't know if you sound like that to your mom ever in your life. But I'm gonna say you did.
I definitely do. Everybody does. Like, I can be my most vulnerable with my mom, and sometimes I do bite off more than I can chew, and I will admit that.
No, that's good. Healthy appetite.
And sometimes I gotta go into her room crying, like, Mama.
No, we do that with each other. You need that support system too.
Yeah, I think also it needs to happen. If you don't fail ever, then you're never gonna succeed.
And it's okay to fail.
Yeah. I think it's more than okay to fail. It's good to fail. You gotta fail.
It's practice. It's not failure. It's practice.
You need the experience. You need to be humbled.
You don't really learn from winning. You really learn from the failure.
Yeah. Exactly. You learn from that humbling process. Yes.
Ustedes todos son unos
She's
genios.
bringing out. I'm trying to keep up with her. I know, right? I'm trying to like remember shit that I heard on TikTok that sound crazy, and that was one of them. Perfect timing.
The mantras are gonna start.
There are no losses. There are only lessons. I don't take
that's the way I
L's.
gotta speak.
Sign up for my courses online.
Yeah, for real. Yo.
All right, so we're gonna switch over to last call. Yeah, last call for words. My bad. Last call for words. My brother, my main man, Dre Drizzo.
I'm like out of words. I don't know what the fuck to say at this point, but Daddy, you are truly amazing. It is refreshing to hear somebody from your generation. The way you talk, your drive, and everything else like that. Like, shout out to Mama, you did an amazing, and that too. That is in the picture. That is in the picture, yeah. And that, and keep doing what
What's
you're
his name?
doing.
Can we give that
Juan,
shit?
it's Juan.
Juan, shout out to Juan.
Tú estás haciendo un trabajo fenomenal.
Encendido, Juan. And keep doing what you're doing, and I'm looking forward to see what you do next, for real. So,
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
The lovely, honorable Lady H. What are your last call for words?
So I'm not Dominican, but I feel like I am by proxy.
Yeah.
However, as a Latina, I'm so proud of you. And also, what was it? Wednesday, City Hall, Dominican Independence Day. That event was so nice and so beautiful. I was pleasantly surprised because I was expecting a standard, like, let's see how long this lasts until we get out of here event. But what surprised me about that event was the amount of women and powerful and strong women that took that stage and that were celebrated, and you set that up for us, and you spoke so beautifully, and you're such a beautiful representation of the future and what's to come, and no pressure. I'm expecting a lot of things from you.
No pressure, but pressure.
The pressure.
You got this. You got this.
this.
So I'm really proud to have had this conversation with you, and I can't wait to see what you're gonna do. You have so much ahead of you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Miss super smart young lady girl. This is like that's gonna be your new formal title. I don't want to be like Miss Know-It-All, because that's like that has a negative connotation. There's no shade. No. Miss Smart Lady, señora que sabe mucho. Tú estás muy bien. Yariana Torres.
I definitely learned that I like this. Seek, right? I've never done a podcast to this extent before. I'd like done interviews and whatnot, but it was very formal. So when I sat down here, I was very nervous. Also, your setup is beautiful. Like, I love the vibe in here is great, and I realized that this is something that I might want to get into. Or this is something that I might want to do.
Career choice 20-5.
That's it.
The whole career fair.
That's it. Just add a little bit more to the plate.
Mami, yo no creo que puedo hacer esto, pero vamos a hacerlo.
Listen, and I hope it motivated my mama, because I've been telling her I want to do a podcast with her, and she has not been jacking it. But it's because we're like this. Like, who better to do a podcast with than your best friend, you know?
What would you call your podcast?
I don't even know. I'm so bad with titles. You don't know how long it took me to put a title to my book. It was it was so difficult. putting titles to poems, I hate it. It's not my thing. And that is actually like very common. Like a lot of writers do not like, because it's like you're putting something in a box. I'm not good at putting things in a box. I'm very good at letting things flow and be what they want to be, you know?
Yo, te diga.
I feel like you're being too lenient with the box. Like, I'm saying regular stuff.
No, if you would have heard what I heard, say, I don't like putting things in the box. I just like letting them flow. I was like the yacht bomb.
Well, y'all could just started both of y'all names.
Yeah, why don't you just call it me and mama?
Me and mama, yeah. Just keep it simple. Keep it simple. Don't.
Well, she'd have to be down for that first.
So you down?
To put me under the throat right now.
You want to be the next guest? Get some practice. Be the next guest.
Yo, that's. I mean, if that. By the way, I should have probably asked you, how did you come about your title? Halfway there.
I don't know. I don't remember. I like when I'm telling you.
It was back in the days.
Things happen, and I don't know if it's a me thing or if it's an everybody thing, but things happen, and I don't know how they happen. I don't know. Like, I remember there's a story, because I remember I went through, even with my cover, which I wish I had my book to show ya, but I forgot my book.
But I'm gonna put it up.
Even with my cover, it was a process of like, I thought I wanted something, this is something that I find very common in my life. I think that I want something, and then that's not what I want. So I thought I wanted one thing, and then my book, I wanted something cultural as my cover, but then I realized my book is not very cultural. It's very personal. You know, there's cultural poems in there, and I'm a very cultural poet, and when I read my poems, you know I'm Dominican, and you know I'm from the Bronx, but that doesn't mean that they're cultural. That's a trait they have. So when I realized, I was like, damn, but this doesn't represent my book, then I was like, back to the scratching board. And really, the genius behind that is my illustrator.
My bad. Y'all picked up, she called it a scratching board. not a drawing board, a scratching board.
I scratch shit off, bro.
I've never. Yo, my bad.
I feel like I just misspoke. I don't know. I thought that was the phrase.
So, okay, if that's
we're gonna
what
keep it.
That's what we're gonna keep it.
You've been talking so flawlessly that we're gonna keep that shit. I missed out. I'm like, scratching, bro. I never heard of that one. Fuck.
I'm like, clearly I'm behind the motherfucking game.
They got those in classrooms now. I gotta Google this shit.
Which is why I always say, like, collaborating is the key to getting what you want, because I had no idea what I wanted, and my illustrator from DR, which is actually my mom's cousin, he when I said I needed an illustration, my mom was like, I know who I want, and I was like, damn, this is my book, like, what you mean? But she was like, I know who I want, and it ended up being executed so beautifully to an extent where I did not know what I wanted, and he did, you know. And even like little things people don't know about publishing, and I didn't know about publishing, is like, even the gloss finish you give your book will change the way it looks. And I went through a whole process of like having to reprint, because you got to print an author's copy, and I printed it matte. But because my book cover is so dark, it looked, in my opinion, it looked bad, because it was like dark, and the matte, you know, there's no highlights. And I had to go back and print it out glossy, and all these little details of what I thought I wanted. I thought I wanted a matte book, and then I got that matte book, and it was not what I wanted. So like, all these little tiny details which you think are nothing teach you so much, because that process taught me a lot about, like, you cannot be the, like, how do I say, you can't be a dictator even in your own life. You cannot dictate what is happening. You cannot dictate how things will come out. Things will happen the way they want to happen.
Look at you.
There you go.
Wise beyond your years.
For real.
Sometimes we become perfectionists, or we aim for and strive for perfectionism because you care so much. And within that process, a lot of things get lost. And, you know, it's not that, let's just put it out there. It's just that you want to deliver something that you believe is true to you. And then it's also not, because it's not just true to you, it's an extension of you. And it's an extension of other people's representation. So in the process of chasing perfectionism, a lot of things can get lost, and so that's why you should never put things in a box. You should let it flow, and that's what I learned today. By the way, I didn't know that shit. You know, so that wasn't my last call for words, by the way. But it probably should be. I mean, my last call for words would be that I'm absolutely just flabbergasted. Like, you know, you've blown me away. Outside of, I already had an idea, but having an idea, and sometimes we get, you know, in just human nature and the spirit of romanticizing an idea of what someone is, who they are, what they represent, all these other things. So when I saw you drop your poem and give your speech and speak and just, you know, really represent us in a meaningful way, in my brain, you had built up such a beautiful hype, and I am beyond fulfilled knowing that you've lived up to it, because sometimes that is the most difficult part. I'm just kind of happy that I could have crossed paths with you in the space-time continuum. Mm-hmm. Because there, you know, for a lot of things in life that we're constantly being reminded and bombarded with that may not be doing well, I am beyond fulfilled knowing that today specifically I crossed paths with you, and I can feel confident and proud and wholeheartedly know that things are amazing. Mm-hmm. So I thank you very much, Mama. I thank you too.
Yes.
And you know, it's been absolutely phenomenal having you on, and I appreciate your time, appreciate your energy, your glow, and everything about you. And although I joked about it quite often about your age, it's in respect of allowing yourself to be. Because sometimes we do rush to be at certain points in our lives that we don't know what happens in the process. And so just allow yourself to absorb every little detail and just be, because, man, I'm not going to lie, this shit seems to get faster as we get older.
Hell yeah.
And, you know, like, you got the 16-day hour period. I try to squeeze as much as I can in 12.
Yeah.
Y todavía como que esta vaina no está.
Se va rápido.
And then I'm trying to get my 8 hours of sleep because
You get older.
Yo,
you need that shit.
You need it. You need it.
You need that.
If there's one thing I've learned is that, but then tú sabes que, I don't know, this has been me lately. I've been dreaming so vividly que I'm like, yo no estoy durmiendo.
Yo, that's a fact. And you go to sleep and your alarm goes off and you feel like you was asleep for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's why I'm so tired today. I had active dreams last night.
I know, but she thrashes too much. But with that said, you know, I appreciate y'all. You guys were absolutely phenomenal. Dre Drizzo.
Yes.
Lady H. Yariana, Yari. The truth. I once again sincerely appreciate you. This is Just Words. We all care. And you know, and we're out. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you.
That was the dopest thing I ever did in my life.
I'm so
That
glad.
was so cool.
That was great having
You are natural in that.
Yeah.
You know how to talk and
Well,
stay on
I did.
point.
It was a lot of. I was a translator for a while at church. So
También.
Check
Like 5 pages at this point.
I literally did a misjustice of only putting author. Diablo, talk about not utilizing.
You know how there are so many people that multi-hyphenates of what they do? I feel like you actually do all the multi-hyphenates.
No. Throughout the episode, I put a translator. I'm gonna just keep adding to the list because wow.
thank you guys so much.
You were fantastic.
Thank you.